Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin. And today we are sampling our second media sample from our friends.
Big time.
Yeah, well, it's us. Our second media sample. We're big time now. From our friends at O.H. Ingram. This is their flagship bourbon. So this was the third bourbon they released, or third whiskey they released, sorry. I want to say it came out towards the early part of 2021.
Yep.
I think is when this one came out. This is a straight bourbon. The original one we did, that's a wheated bourbon. I believe this is a rye mash bill bourbon. So
we have what, one more?
We have
two more.
A rye. We have the rye and the original white label.
White label, yep.
This and this company's new. I mean, they just started 2019, something along those lines. They just started.
But they hit the market, and there was a lot of...
There's some little hype behind that.
Hype behind it.
The reason why there's hype is they're rick houses.
Yeah.
So
it's on a barge.
Yeah.
On the Mississippi.
Yep. So that is the... What the heck? There we go. Why not? So that is their claim. That's their claim to fame. That's their thing. It is patented and all that fun stuff. They figured out a way to put a rick house on a barge, and they leave it on the Mississippi for their aging process. That's pretty impressive. So, and this is, I want to say this is too, right? Yeah, this is a straight bourbon. So this is at least 4-year-old. I think that's a straight bourbon as well. And no age statement. All right.
It's a straight bourbon.
So if it's a straight bourbon with no age statement, it has to be at least 4 years old.
Okay.
With an age statement, to be a straight bourbon, it has to be 2 years old, but it would need to include an age statement. So they take a barge, put their barrels up there, source everything from MGP. I'm pretty sure it says distilled in Indiana. So technically it's not naming MGP, but
I love
almost
I love the name. Bottled by Brown Water Spirits.
Brown Water Spirits.
In Owensboro.
Yeah. So they're taking MGP, and then they're putting it in the barrels, and then they put it on a barge. And that barge hyper accelerates aging, I guess is the right way to say it. So there's barometric changes. It's constantly moving. So that's one of the things. You're getting a whole bunch of movement. So that's going to hyper age things. The temperature fluctuations on the river is huge. So it's in a metal barge. So when the sun is hitting the barge, the inside heats up more. And then at night, the water pulls all the heat out. So it's cooler inside the barge at night than it is outside, and it's warmer inside the barge during the day than it is outside. So it's just doing things that you can't possibly do in a rick house on land. Unless you're, well, the movement you can't do, but I know like Michter's does like climate change. Like they actually heat and cool their rick houses. So they are doing that, but the rick house isn't moving at the same time.
It's kind of like, it's the constant agitation. It's kind of like Blackened.
Right,
with the music,
the vibrations from the music,
vibrating and then obviously Jefferson's, because they put theirs out on a barge in the ocean, so it's constantly.
Yeah, but that's for what, like a 6-month, 9-month run. This is the whole life of the whiskey.
Yeah, but it's still there's still
same
constant movement.
Yes.
I think they.
They're taking it to the extreme.
Similar idea, yeah.
Yeah, they're taking that and then they took it to the extreme.
So they're getting the agitation of still being out there on the river.
Right.
But they're still getting that Kentucky climate.
It's in right off.
So they're getting
Ballard County. What is it?
It's in Owensboro.
Ballard County,
which is near I think Owensboro.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's a really.
I think it's a cool idea.
It's a really cool idea. I wonder how much like leakage there is and lossage that or they may have figured it out, but still. Whew, that is.
It smells some proof.
Yeah, 100 proof, right? 100 proof. Yeah. So it's not officially bottled and bond. I wonder if that won't bond a barge.
I wonder. Federally bonded.
Yeah, the rick house isn't federally bonded, so
Times are changing. They
You never know.
They may work. Yeah, I get a lot of the proof.
There's proof. Again, this is a rye. They don't release the mash bill, but I want to say this is the higher rye mash bill from MGP. So I think it's 36% rye, if I recall correctly.
It's got the spice.
I was gonna say there's a rye spice.
I get some oak. I do get some oak off of this though.
And I'm still gonna guess it's probably 4 to 5 year old. Getting oak off of the nose is because of how it's aged. It's a really nice rye bourbon note.
Ooh, I like the palate.
That has, all right, so I got a whole lot of cinnamon notes.
Yeah.
Coming off of that. And then it got
Creamy.
really brown sugary.
For me, it got creamy.
I got a lot of brown sugar came through around that cinnamon note. Finished nice, got a nice warmth.
I was expecting my mouth to dry out. It hasn't.
It's not that kind of oaky note.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't come off with like that oaky, like dry out note. That's nice. Like the warmth and the spice really kind of holds on, but it's not aggressively rye spiced.
Nope.
It's just a nice baking spice. Really good sweetness. That's a good round bourbon. The Ingram family is known, like they've done shipping and things like that. And that's kind of, they grew up around it, had the idea, and went with it. I think it works. I do think it ages it nicely. Really interested to see what that rye tastes like. Because if that's MGP 95.5 rye, is that, like, can they take that, which is not generally a rye we're a fan of, and do something that makes it good? Like that hyper aging, bringing in the barrel notes a little bit more. Will that shake off the profile that we're not a fan of? I'm really interested for that one. But for this one, for the flagship, that's a solid whiskey. That's a really good bourbon.
Come on, mine going now. Can you put this on trucks? Or it's a confined,
In theory.
constant agitation.
Yeah. I want to say there's somebody that does that for like 6 months or something.
Hell, even like a train, just back and forth, run it from DC to LA.
I was gonna say on a truck, that's probably a lot of weight.
Oh, hell
Movement
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. That's probably not.
But just thinking outside, like a different way to age it.
Yeah.
Where it's constantly moving, and there would be some temperature changes there.
Hell, I saw on Moonshiners, they got an old amusement park.
I saw that.
And they put it in the seat in a ride that moves like this, and then they put a sail on the top of it so the wind would make it rock. All they wanted was about an inch.
Yep.
This is probably getting a heck of a lot more than just an inch of movement. This is probably getting a good, couple feet of movement each direction as boats go by with wakes. And their website is great if you want to learn more about the barometric pressures and the water rising and lowering and the temperature fluctuations. They have all that information on there. They're really proud of the process.
I wish they would just do it where they just run it up and down the Mississippi.
That'd be fun too, because
Or just even take a turn up the Ohio, come back down.
that would loop in a whole lot more temperature fluctuations on that one. Some barometric changes, seasonal changes. There's a whole lot of things that could happen in that. Going from Ohio down to Louisiana.
Depending on the humidity for sure.
Yeah,
Especially in the summer.
absolutely.
I don't get as much as the proof. I do get more rye.
Yeah, the spice the rye spice came up in both the nose and the palate. Right now, I'm going to say it's a much better neat drink.
Yeah, I enjoy the nose
creaminess and everything from it was nice. The rye spice comes up a little bit more in the nose, a little bit more in the palate. Not much. There's still a lot of those sweet notes that you get throughout. But I liked the baking note with the sweet notes. Neat.
So first pull, it's really sweet, but as it kind of just sits there, I got a lot of spice.
And it's not straight baking spice. It's more that herbal rye spice, right? Because that's kind of where it started to tilt towards that a little bit more.
Herbally, but almost like a kind of like spearmint feels in your mouth. You get the kind of
little tingle?
Yeah.
Got a little tingle?
Yep, little tingle.
I could see that. I could actually be convinced of a little bit of a mint note, actually.
Okay.
There is something about that rye herbalness that tends to steer close to a mint note. So I could steer towards that. Yeah, I could definitely steer.
I'm getting more, now I go back, I'm getting more ethanol now. And young.
I was gonna say the water actually made it come off a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And there's probably some science in all of that. Like, age in barrel is still age in barrel. You can accelerate the impact of it, but there's still something about a whiskey that's been sitting in a barrel for a longer amount of time. It has more time to just interact with the wood versus just in and out real quick.
It develops a lot more characteristic.
Yes. So
more body, more depth to it.
This accelerates it a touch, but it doesn't totally make up for the time difference. Mm-hmm. That's going to be one of the things I'm going to say.
You just touch the surface of all those characteristics you probably get if you just left it in a brick house.
Right. Two, this is not a cheap bottle. Mm-mm. All right, their lineup, they are a premium whiskey lineup.
Stills it.
Their very first whiskey that they came out with, the white label whiskey, was right around $70.
Yeah.
I believe the rye came out 9 months later, and it was right in that same ballpark of around $70. This came out as their ultra premium. This is like $100 for $750. I can't say that I'd want to spend $100 for that. Mm-mm. That's a little bit high. It's just a little bit high. Like, there's some really good bottles at $100 MSRP. Now you can actually get this at MSRP. Some of the other ones you can't find at MSRP, but honestly, all of the BTEC is technically $100.
Yeah, well, that's all allocated.
Can you find it?
Yeah. Well, you just have to walk in the liquor store at the right time.
Yeah. Is it good whiskey? Yeah.
No, it's really solid. It's very good.
Really solid whiskey.
But $100 bottles, it's not our wheelhouse. Like we're the
40 to 70 is probably more of what.
But we're not going to turn our nose on the 20s.
No,
because there's diamonds in the rough.
Absolutely, there is. Yeah, I prefer this neat. Mm-hmm. I definitely prefer it neat. It is bringing out more of those MGP rye notes that I don't particularly care for. It like slid into more MGP bourbon.
Yep.
Versus neat, they actually have something very different. It's a really nice bourbon.
Yeah, I got the whole spice, tingly. No, I mean they're definitely onto something.
Yeah, I like. Is it like Texas? Like, you can't do it too long because then the barrel will overwhelm it. I'm interested if they're playing with, okay, so if this is say 4-ish years, are they playing with a 5-year, a 6-year, an 8-year, a 10-year? And
I think all of them are.
Just to see, yeah.
Just to see, they pull a couple barrels, put them to the side. Obviously not a whole rick house, but a couple barrels just to see. And it's like, is it worth putting a whole label?
Right. Because at some point there is diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a point where the barrels just get there's too much wood impact. It gets too oaky. It starts to lose some of the...
No, I really like the story.
Yeah, I like the story. I like what they're doing. I'm interested to see what they're going to continue to do with it. Mm-hmm. That's a little overpriced. Mm-hmm. Really happy for the sample. But
absolutely
neat. It's a really good whiskey. So if if somebody has a bottle, go for that neat pour because it's well worth it.
Yep. It's been a while since.
So we got 2 more from the OH Ingram. 1 more media sample, and then 1 bottle you actually bought, right?
It was gifted.
Gifted. Okay.
Gifted.
Yeah, that'll work too.
Yep. Still sitting on the bar cart. But no, again, I love the story.
Yep.
I love the whole, like, on the water, total, like, constant agitation. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see if some of the recipes, if they're going to try to age them a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see what a 6 or an 8. Mm-hmm. So 10, why not?
Obviously, they're gonna lose some of it, but how much more is it gonna change?
Right.
The profile.
Yeah, absolutely. Be really interesting.
And I'm sure there's gonna be some other recipes coming down the line. Some of the toasted, and then
honeys. Yep. Yeah, you could start going crazy with all the different options if you wanted to.
It's interesting how the bourbon whiskey is turned into like the craft beer market from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Just the
experimentation.
Let's
add this. Let's change that. Let's whatever.
I'm glad they are, because we
get to
we reap the benefit.
Yeah.
We reap the benefit.
We get to enjoy that.
We definitely appreciate the media sample.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, OH Ingram.
Yep, absolutely. I had the first one, got it for November. Pretty solid bottle.
Yeah.
I think the price.
Right.
But
the price flirted a little higher than what the bottle was worth. But
I always find it interesting when you're coming on the market. But as consumers, we have no idea behind the scenes what
prices or
expenses. What influenced that price. Yeah. So, but it does really well. So apparently it's I guess priced where it should be. So
if they're moving product, why not?
They're definitely moving product. So, and I love the story. So.
Currently available in a total of 17 states. Okay. Only 3 are on the shelf. Okay. I want to say it's Kentucky, Tennessee, and Louisiana are the 3 where it's on the shelf. Don't ask me why. And then there's online you can order it.
It's weird because they're right there with Missouri,
Indiana, Ohio are all right there. But all right there. No. But I think it's online, and I can't remember what the name of the company is, but it's not like marked way up online. It's like the retail price online. Okay. That's the partnership that they have for distribution, I guess.
All right. Well, anxious to try the rye and do the original the white label.
Yeah, we're going backwards, and we went 4, 3, 2, and we'll go 2, 1. Why not? Okay.
We hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, we encourage you to hit the like button on the screen.
And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Really trying to get that subscriber count up. We're over 250 now, so want to keep moving closer. Keep going up.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts. If you had any of the
have you had any of the Ingrams?
What's your favorite? What's your least favorite?
Yeah.
What would you like to see next? Because I'm sure that everyone's got some
experimenting. Yeah, they're got to be experimenting. It'll be fun to watch.
Well, thanks for joining.
See you on the next episode.
Cheers.